There's something else that's interesting here in chapter 37 that we need to notice, and it's that we're told that Joseph went to find his brothers near Dothan, which in Hebrew means two wells or two cisterns, which is not all that surprising. In this day, wells were a very critical water source. But there's only one other place where in scripture where there's a reference to two cisterns. And it comes from the book of Jeremiah, where God says this about his people: "My people have committed two sins. They have forsaken me, the spring of living water, and they have dug their own cisterns, broken cisterns that cannot hold water." And this highlights a pattern for us of how quickly we can abandon the God who made us. Rather than choosing to live in the freedom that he promises, we try to make our own freedom. We dig our own cisterns instead of drawing living water from God himself. And in the next verse, Jeremiah asks a question that shows us what turning away from God produces in our lives. He asks, why has Israel become a slave? And the implication here is, why has Israel chosen to become a slave? We have to remember that our choice to turn away from God, while it may always begin in an effort to find freedom, it always ends with us in bondage. And in that bondage, the darkness can be so dark that we cannot see the chains that hold us. What Jeremiah is saying to us is that when we choose our own well, rather than the living water of God himself, it's only a matter of time before we are enslaved by our choices. It's only a matter of time before our choices hurt us and those around us. And here at Dothan, a city whose name means two wells, Joseph's brothers chose the wrong well. They chose their way over God's way. They chose to take advantage of their brother rather than protect him. And their brother became enslaved by their choice. And they had to go back to their father enslaved by a secret they would carry for years. So many times we face adversity in our lives because of others' choices. Because of the choices they make, adversity lands in our lives. It's a difficult reality, but we all have to accept it. But as we will see, God never wastes the adversity we experience.